Welcome to this week's episode of A Spiritual Cup of Coffee.
When you're faced with a situation that causes a lot of pain, a lot of confusion, and basically you have to admit that you made a major mistake, which would you rather have? A friend who listens to you and builds you up, tries to strengthen your faith and tell you, hey, you can get over this and this is going to make you stronger? Or would you rather have a friend who says you need to spend more time in church? Which would you rather have? In the book of Acts, there's a really interesting situation. In fact, it's in Acts 15. We're not going to read the whole book today, but I do encourage you to read this chapter 15 of Acts, on your own time, because when you do, you're going to find that there is a group of people that have a huge religious agenda. And that's not what God set up for us. So let me ask you this. Have you ever made a mistake? Or have you ever had a time of great pain and confusion in your life? Like maybe you chose to date the wrong person, and the result of that was major heartache. And maybe you went to a friend for some advice, for some support, and that person maybe told you, you really need to find somebody at church. Have you ever done that? How about this? Have you ever been in church and felt like you really couldn't be your true self, like you couldn't really lay out all your dirty laundry because you might get judged, or people might not like you if they really knew your past, if they really knew your mistakes, or if they really knew your dreams? Have you ever felt that way? Going to church, going to a four-walled church, is not a bad thing. I'm very blessed. We have found an amazing church in the community that we just moved to, and this church feeds our faith and helps build us up as leaders. And so we're so thankful for that. And I encourage you, if you have found a church, to keep going and just make sure that it's feeding your faith. But sometimes, especially in our society nowadays, we've turned the act of going to church into the answer for all of our struggles. You know, maybe you've heard this. Just because you go stand in your garage, it doesn't mean you're a car. Right? Well, just because you go to church all the time doesn't mean you're a Christian or you're living your life for God. And that's what I want to point out to you today. See, in this chapter of Acts 15, you have some people who start coming from the point of view of the Pharisees, the religious people. And they're trying to make it a lot harder for believers to follow God. They're trying to set up some rules that are not necessarily what God had planned. And so Peter and Paul stand up and start sharing the truth. And I want to point out this verse to you. It's Acts chapter 15, verse 31. It says, "The people read it and were glad for its encouraging message." 15:32 says, "Judas and Silas, who themselves were prophets, said much to encourage and strengthen the brothers." So they send this letter that tells them basically what they were told about having to fit all these guidelines is no longer necessary. That the person who sent that information didn't necessarily line up with what Jesus was telling them to do. And it says right here that when these people read this, they were encouraged. They were strengthened. Some translations actually say that their faith was strengthened. So the truth is, I read this about a month ago, and I was kind of digging my feet in the sand, not wanting to share it. Because this is not a popular message. Because it really sheds light on how we as Christians can sometimes be. Sometimes we can be very judgmental. Sometimes we can think that by pointing people to church all the time, we're really helping them, when really we're not. I mean, are we really helping someone when all we do is tell them, go to church, that'll solve all your problems? No. Our job is to encourage them, to help strengthen their faith. You know, think about this. Friend, when you're faced with a challenging situation, would you rather have a friend who tells you, just go to church, that'll fix all your problems? Or would you rather have a friend who tells you, you can get through this? There's a reason why this is happening, and it's going to make you stronger. And you can do it. God is with you, whether you believe in Him or not. And if you choose not to believe in Him right now, that's okay. I will still be your friend. You can do this. You can get back up. You can move forward. It's okay to feel that way. Which friend would you rather have? I know I'd rather have a friend who sits there and strengthens me, who speaks words of life over me, who reminds me that I can get back up again. I'd rather have a friend who sends me a note so that when I read it, I can be glad and encouraged. So I challenge you today to be that kind of friend. Be the type of friend who encourages another. Don't condemn them. Don't tell them they should have gone to church more, or if they would have gone to church, this wouldn't have happened. Don't even go down that road. The past is in the past. Our job is to strengthen and encourage those that need it most. And when we do that, when we're a friend to others, it opens the door so that we can share what God has done in our lives. And then it has even more meaning. They're willing to listen if we're a friend first. So thank you for spending these few moments with me. I wish you a fabulous week. And remember, as you're going about your week, doing this challenge of being a friend to others first, share with me in the comment section below, right at the bottom, share with me how this impacted you. Share with us how you're going to apply this today. Just take a few moments, leave a comment, because we want to hear from you. And until next week, I wish you a fabulous week. May you be blessed, be healthy, and be inspired. Bye-bye.